While Elon Musk's $240 billion fortune dominates headlines, one president's secret wealth quietly eclipses every tech billionaire combined. Behind $1.4 billion palaces, $700 million yachts, and a fleet of 700 luxury cars, he may control the largest personal fortune in history. In this video, we're diving into the ultra-hidden empire of the only president who makes Elon Musk look broke. Palaces, yachts, and a lifestyle of unimaginable luxury. He may claim to live modestly on a $140,000 salary, but behind the scenes, Vladimir Putin might just be outballing Elon Musk. According to several investigative reports, Putin's hidden net worth could sit anywhere between $70 billion and a jaw-dropping $200 billion, putting him in serious contention for the richest man alive. But here's the twist. Putin technically owns nothing. No mega yachts in his name, no billion-dollar estates listed under V. Putin. So how does a man without official assets live like a Bond villain with unlimited cheat codes? The answer lies in a shadowy empire of shell companies, loyal oligarchs, and state-backed secrecy that makes even Musk's fortune look basic. Let's start with what investigators call the crown jewel of Putin's alleged empire, a Black Sea palace, estimated at $1.35 to $1.4 billion, featuring a church, casino, and ice rink. This isn't just any mansion. The Black Sea mansion is located on Cape Idakopas, near Gelendzhik, Krasnodar Krai, Russia, spanning 74 hectares, 180 acres, with the main house covering 17,691 square meters, 190,420 square feet. To put that in perspective, this palace is larger than Buckingham Palace, which covers about 39,000 square meters, including its gardens. Putin's alleged palace is nearly 5 times that size, and the luxury contained within is almost beyond comprehension. The main building, covering 17,700 square meters, houses around a dozen guest bedrooms and a 260 SQM master bedroom with a canopied 4-poster bed and marbled bathroom. But it's not just the size that's impressive, it's what's inside. The interiors, crafted by Italian architect Lanfranco Cirillo, feature a theater with red curtains, a Las Vegas-style casino, a strip club, and an indoor swimming pool with Corinthian columns. We're talking about a private residence with amenities that would make Las Vegas hotels jealous. The entertainment options are staggering. An underground hockey rink, 180 feet long, concealed under a grassy dome, exists beneath the palace grounds. Imagine having your own personal hockey arena hidden underground. It's the kind of luxury that seems almost fictional. The palace also features a special tunnel inside the mountain leading to an underground tasting room built into a cliff overlooking the sea. The attention to detail and sheer extravagance is mind-boggling. The interiors feature stucco, gold leaf gilding, inlaid marquetry, and ornate Italian furniture, evoking the opulence of Versailles. But here's where it gets even more outrageous. Furnishings include 47 sofas, one costing £200,000, and a £40,000 table with a hidden bar. A single sofa worth $250,000. That's more than many people's entire houses. This level of spending suggests someone with access to virtually unlimited resources. The grounds are equally impressive. The 74-hectare grounds include a Japanese garden, arboretum, vineyards, and a 26,000 square feet greenhouse. The estate even has 2 helipads, a Byzantine-style church, and an amphitheater. But the Black Sea Palace isn't Putin's only alleged property. Reports indicate at least 19 other houses, including a chateau near Paris, likened to the Palace of Versailles, and a VIP ski resort in the Caucasus Mountains. We're talking about a real estate portfolio that spans continents and includes some of the most exclusive properties on Earth. One recently discovered property has investigators particularly excited: Lake Ladoga Residence, a 4 SQKM estate near the Finnish border, with modern houses, helipads, yacht piers, and a stolen waterfall. The estate includes 3 modern-style houses known as the Barn, the Fisherman's Hut, and the Garden House, 2 helipads, several yacht piers, a trout farm, a farm with cows for marbled beef production, and a 13-foot waterfall allegedly stolen from the Ladoga Skerries National Park. Now let's talk about Putin's alleged fleet of luxury yachts, because if you're going to be the world's richest man, you need appropriate transportation. Several luxury yachts, including the graceful, now Kasatka, Scheherazade, and Victoria, are reportedly associated with Vladimir Putin. The Scheherazade is particularly noteworthy. Scheherazade, a 140-meter yacht worth $700 million, is one of the world's largest. This isn't just a yacht, it's essentially a floating palace. Its interior boasts a pool that doubles as a dance floor, gold-plated bathroom fixtures, a spa, a gym, and a tiltable pool table to counter waves. A pool table that tilts to compensate for ocean waves. That's the kind of attention to detail that unlimited money can buy. The graceful, now called Kasatka, is equally impressive. The graceful, now called Kasatka, is an 82-meter yacht valued at around $100 million. Its interior, designed by H2 Yacht Design, includes a 15-meter pool that transforms into a dance dance floor, a spiral staircase, and a marble-styled bathroom. But yachts are just the beginning. Putin's alleged transportation empire extends far beyond the seas. Reports suggest Putin has access to 58 aircraft, including the Flying Kremlin, a $716 million jet with a gold toilet. This aircraft, the Ilyushin Il-96-300PU, often called the Flying Kremlin, is valued at approximately $500 million to $716 million. The interior of this aircraft defies imagination. Key amenities include a private office for official work, various meeting and conference rooms for diplomatic engagements, a relaxation room and guest lounge for comfort during long flights, a mini gym equipped with treadmills, weightlifting sets and a boxing bag, a large dining room and a bar stocked with top-shelf whiskies, multiple showers for hygiene during extended travel, a medical unit kitted out for many emergency treatments. On the ground, Putin's alleged vehicle collection is equally staggering. Research suggests he owns 700 cars, though this figure is debated. 700 cars, that's nearly 2 cars for every day of the year. His official state car, the Urus Senat, introduced in 2018, is the current presidential state car, known for its luxury and security features. Even Putin's personal accessories suggest unlimited wealth. Putin is often seen wearing high-end watches, such as a Patek Philippe perpetual calendar worth $60,000 and an A. Lange and sonatubograph valued at $500,000. Putin's watch collection is estimated to be worth approximately $1 million, with individual watches ranging from $10,000 to $500,000. For someone earning $140,000 per year, owning a $500,000 watch raises obvious questions. But perhaps the most telling aspect of Putin's alleged lifestyle isn't any single asset. It's the systematic nature of it all. Even Putin's travel includes luxury elements, with a 22-car ghost train with luxurious amenities, including a fully equipped gym, skincare and massage parlor with anti-aging machines, a luxurious Turkish bath steam room, lavish bedrooms, ornate dining cars, a movie theater, bulletproof doors and windows and medical equipment. The production cost was $74 million, with annual upkeep at $15.8 million. The sheer scale of these alleged assets is unprecedented. We're not talking about a rich person who bought a nice house and a fancy car. We're talking about someone who allegedly owns multiple palaces, dozens of aircraft, hundreds of cars and yachts that rival the luxury of 5-star hotels. The lifestyle described by investigators represents a level of wealth and luxury that surpasses anything we've seen from tech billionaires or oil tycoons. But here's the crucial point that makes all of this so controversial and fascinating. The Kremlin denies Putin owns these assets, claiming they belong to private businessmen. The official line is that Putin is a modest public servant who happens to have very wealthy friends who are generous with their assets. However, investigations like Alexei Navalny's 2021 documentary suggest otherwise. This isn't just about luxury or even corruption. It's about how this alleged hidden empire serves a much larger purpose in maintaining Putin's grip on power and Russia's position on the world stage. The rise of a hidden empire. To understand how Vladimir Putin allegedly became the richest president in the world, we need to go back to the beginning, back to a time when he was just another intelligence officer in the crumbling Soviet Union. Putin's ascent began in the Soviet Union's KGB, where he developed skills in intelligence and security. Little did the world know that these skills would later become instrumental in building what some experts believe to be the largest personal fortune in human history. Born on October 7, 1952 in Leningrad, now St. Petersburg, Vladimir Putin grew up in modest circumstances. His early life was far from luxurious. He lived in a communal apartment, and his family struggled with the hardships of post-war Soviet life. But Putin was ambitious, disciplined, and possessed an almost uncanny ability to navigate complex political situations. In the 1970s, he studied law and joined the KGB, serving as a foreign intelligence officer for 15 years, including a stint in East Germany. The collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991 presented Putin with an opportunity that he would seize with both hands. After the Soviet Union's collapse in 1991, Putin transitioned to politics in St. Petersburg, working under Mayor Anatoly Sobchak. This wasn't just any political position. St. Petersburg in the 1990s was a hotbed of economic activity, corruption, and the kind of murky business deals that would later become Putin's trademark. But Putin's real break came when he caught the attention of the Kremlin. By 1996, he moved to Moscow, joining Boris Yeltsin's administration. This was the beginning of what would become one of the most dramatic rises rises to power in modern history. His rapid ascent saw him appointed Director of the Federal Security Service, FSB, in 1998 and Prime Minister in 1999. And then, in a move that shocked the world, when Yeltsin resigned on December 31st, 1999, Putin became acting president, winning the 2000 presidential election. Now here's where the story gets fascinating, and where Putin's alleged path to unimaginable wealth truly begins. When Putin came to power, Russia was in chaos. The oligarchs, a small group of incredibly wealthy businessmen who had acquired vast assets during the privatization of Soviet state property, essentially controlled the country's economy. These men were richer and more powerful than the government itself. But Putin had other plans. Putin's presidency was marked by efforts to centralize authority, control of institutions. He brought media, judiciary, and security services under state influence, limiting opposition. Management of oligarchs. In 2000, Putin met with Russia's richest men, demanding loyalty. This wasn't just a friendly meeting. It was essentially Putin laying down the law. The message was clear. You can keep your wealth, but you will serve the state. More specifically, you will serve me. Those who resisted, like Mikhail Khodorkovsky, faced arrest while loyalists prospered. The case of Khodorkovsky is particularly telling. Once Russia's richest man and owner of the oil giant Yukos, Khodorkovsky made the mistake of opposing Putin politically. In 2003, he was arrested on charges of fraud and tax evasion, and his company was essentially seized by the state. Reports suggest post-2003, after jailing Mikhail Khodorkovsky, oligarchs paid 50% of their wealth to Putin personally. This is where Putin's alleged wealth accumulation strategy becomes clear. Rather than building companies or creating value like traditional billionaires, Putin allegedly created a system where Russia's wealthiest individuals were forced to share their fortunes with him in exchange for protection and the right to continue operating. It was like a massive protection racket, but instead of targeting small businesses, it was targeting the entire Russian economy. Bill Browder estimated Putin's fortune at $200 billion in 2017, assuming he claimed half of oligarchs' total wealth. Browder, a financier who once managed the largest investment fund in Russia before becoming one of Putin's most vocal critics, has intimate knowledge of how the Russian system works. His estimate isn't just a guess. It's based on years of experience and understanding of the mechanisms Putin allegedly uses to extract wealth. But how exactly does someone hide $200 billion? How do you accumulate that kind of wealth without it appearing on any official documents? The answer lies in a complex web of shell companies, offshore accounts, and loyal associates who act as fronts for Putin's alleged assets. The Panama Papers revealed a network of secret offshore deals and loans worth $2 billion linked to Putin's associates, such as cellist Sergei Roldugin and businessmen Arkady and Boris Rutenberg. Roldugin, who is officially just a musician and Putin's close friend, somehow managed to accumulate assets worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Sergei Roldugin managed $2 billion in cash flows per the Panama Papers. For a cellist, that's quite an impressive portfolio. The genius of Putin's alleged system is its deniability. Officially, he owns almost nothing. Putin's officially declared annual salary is $140,000, with assets including an 800-square-foot apartment, a trailer, and 3 cars, totaling around $280,000 as of 2007. On paper, Putin is just a humble public servant living modestly on his government salary. But analysts like Anders Aslund estimate Putin's wealth at $160 billion, suggesting he may not own assets technically, but has de facto control. This is the crucial distinction that makes Putin's wealth so unique and so difficult to track. Traditional billionaires like Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos own shares in publicly traded companies. Their wealth is transparent, documented, and fluctuates with stock prices. Putin's alleged wealth, on the other hand, is hidden behind layers of proxies, shell companies, and associates who officially own assets but reportedly act on his behalf. The evidence leans towards significant wealth amassed through corruption and offshore dealings. This isn't wealth built through innovation or business acumen in the traditional sense. Instead, it's allegedly wealth extracted through the systematic exploitation of Russia's natural resources and the coercion of its business elite. As we've seen, this hidden empire isn't just numbers on a balance sheet. It's manifested in some of the most luxurious and extravagant properties, vehicles, and assets ever assembled by a single individual. From palaces that make Buckingham Palace look modest to yachts that rival small cruise ships, Putin's alleged lifestyle represents a level of luxury that few people on Earth have ever experienced. Now let's dive into how this wealth has helped Putin to maintain power for the longest. The power behind the wealth, how billions become political weapons. To understand how Putin's alleged wealth sustains his political power, we need to first grasp the unique nature of his position. Unlike democratically elected leaders who must constantly worry about public opinion and electoral cycles, Putin has allegedly created a system where economic control and political power are inseparable. Putin's wealth is instrumental in maintaining power, funding loyalists. Oligarchs like Rotenberg and Kovalchuk receive lucrative contracts ensuring their loyalty. The genius of this alleged system lies in its circular nature. Putin's political power allows him to control who gets access to Russia's vast natural resources and lucrative government contracts. Those who receive these benefits become wealthy, but their wealth depends entirely on maintaining Putin's favor. In turn, their gratitude and fear ensure they support his political power, which he then uses to maintain his economic control. It's a self-reinforcing cycle that becomes stronger over time. Consider the case of Arkady Rotenberg, one of Putin's oldest friends and a former judo partner. Arkady Rotenberg received contracts worth $7 billion for the 2014 Sochi Olympics, with profits likely shared with Putin. The Sochi Olympics weren't just about international prestige. They were allegedly a massive wealth transfer mechanism. Projects that should have cost millions were billed for billions, with the excess allegedly flowing back to Putin and his inner circle. When Rotenberg was sanctioned by the West for supporting Putin's annexation of Crimea, did Putin abandon him? Quite the opposite. Despite sanctions for supporting Putin's actions in Crimea, Arkady Rotenberg was compensated with multi-billion-dollar contracts, such as the Crimean Bridge, completed in 2018. The bridge connecting Russia to Crimea wasn't just infrastructure. It was a message to Putin's allies that loyalty would be rewarded even in the face of international pressure. This dynamic creates what experts call a loyalty pyramid. The evidence leans toward this system making oligarchs ATM machines for Putin, providing resources for political actions like the invasion of Ukraine. At the top sits Putin, controlling access to resources. Below him are layers of oligarchs, officials and businessmen, each owing their position to the layer above them, and ultimately to Putin himself. But Putin's alleged wealth isn't just used to reward friends, it's equally important for punishing enemies. Disloyal oligarchs like Mikhail Khodorkovsky faced asset seizures and legal persecution, demonstrating Putin's use of wealth and power to maintain control. Khodorkovsky's case sent a clear message to every other wealthy Russian. Your fortune exists at Putin's pleasure, and it can be taken away just as easily as it was earned. The international dimension of Putin's alleged wealth strategy is particularly sophisticated. The evidence leans toward Putin's use of international assets to hide wealth and evade sanctions, indirectly supporting his political power. By spreading assets across multiple countries and hiding them behind complex ownership structures, Putin allegedly created a financial system that's remarkably resistant to international pressure. When Western nations impose sanctions on Russia, they're often targeting assets that officially belong to oligarchs or shell companies, not Putin himself. This means Putin can continue funding his political operations while his allies bear the public cost of international isolation. It's a brilliant strategy that socializes the costs of his policies while privatizing the benefits. The scale of Putin's alleged international influence operations is staggering. US allegations suggest Russia spending over $300 million since 2014 to influence elections globally. This isn't just about the 2016 US election. We're talking about a systematic global campaign to influence democratic processes around the world. And if the allegations about Putin's wealth are correct, this $300 million represents a tiny fraction of his available resources. Consider what $200 billion in hidden wealth could accomplish in terms of political influence. That's enough money to fund thousands of political campaigns, buy influence in dozens of countries, and maintain extensive intelligence operations around the world. Putin's control over vast resources enables global power projection, geopolitical strategy. Wealth supports military actions like the annexation of Crimea and the invasion of Ukraine. The 2022 invasion of Ukraine provides a perfect case study of how Putin's alleged wealth translates into political and military power. Modern warfare is incredibly expensive. Estimates suggest Russia is spending hundreds of millions of dollars per day on the conflict. Where does this money come from? The evidence leans toward wealth being used to reward allies and punish opponents, reinforcing his rule. Putin's alleged wealth also serves a crucial domestic political function. His wealth, often hidden in offshore accounts, funds media control and suppresses dissent, ensuring he can shape public opinion and maintain power, especially during elections. Controlling information flow is essential for maintaining power in the modern world, and that control requires significant financial resources. Russian state media isn't just funded by the government budget, it's reportedly supplemented by resources from Putin's alleged personal empire. Independent media outlets face not just legal pressure, but economic economic warfare, as advertisers and funding sources are systematically cut off. Meanwhile, pro-Putin media receives abundant resources to produce slick content and reach global audiences. The psychological aspect of Putin's alleged wealth shouldn't be underestimated either. Putin uses wealth to maintain political loyalty by enriching allies, suppress opposition, and fund activities that bolster Russia's global influence. When potential opponents see the lifestyle that loyalty to Putin can provide, palaces, yachts, unlimited luxury, it creates a powerful incentive for cooperation. At the same time, the fate of those who oppose Putin serves as an equally powerful deterrent. When potential dissidents see oligarchs lose billions of dollars in assets or end up in prison, it sends a clear message about the costs of opposition. This isn't just about fear, it's about rational calculation. Why risk losing everything to oppose someone who appears to have unlimited resources? The corruption allegations surrounding Putin's wealth also serve a strategic purpose. A 2017 poll indicated 67% of Russians held Putin personally responsible for high-level corruption, yet his approval ratings remained high. This seemingly contradictory result makes sense when you understand the message it sends. Putin is so powerful that he can be openly corrupt and still maintain power. That's not a sign of weakness, it's a demonstration of strength. Putin's alleged wealth strategy also extends to international relationships. When he reportedly gifted Vladimir Putin gifts Kim Jong Russian Rolls-Royce Aurus Senate luxury car to North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, it wasn't just diplomacy. It was a display of personal wealth that reinforced Russia's position as a major power. The technological aspect of Putin's alleged wealth management is equally sophisticated. Hidden wealth offshore ensures Putin can continue funding loyalty and political operations, even under international pressure. Modern financial systems allow for incredibly complex ownership structures that can make tracing assets nearly impossible. Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies have reportedly provided new avenues for moving wealth across borders without detection. Shell companies can be created and dissolved rapidly, making it difficult for investigators to track asset flows. Swiss banks, offshore havens, and complex trust structures all play roles in what investigators describe as Putin's alleged financial empire. But perhaps the most important aspect of Putin's alleged wealth is how it's changed the nature of international relations. When a single individual potentially controls resources that rival entire national economies, traditional diplomatic and economic pressure becomes less effective. Sanctions against Russia hurt the country and its people, but if Putin's personal wealth is sufficiently hidden and diversified, he can continue funding his political objectives indefinitely. This represents a fundamental challenge to the international order. Democratic nations assume that economic pressure will eventually force political change, but that assumption breaks down when political leaders have access to vast hidden wealth that insulates them from the economic consequences of their actions. The global implications of Putin's alleged wealth empire extend far beyond Russia's borders. If someone can accumulate and hide $200 billion while maintaining the facade of being a modest public servant, it challenges fundamental assumptions about transparency, accountability, and the rule of law in the modern world. The lack of transparency and allegations of corruption make his financial empire a contentious and elusive subject, reliant on investigative efforts for insight. The technology sector has produced many billionaires, but their wealth is largely transparent. We know exactly how many Tesla shares Elon Musk owns, and we can track his net worth in real time as stock prices fluctuate. Putin's alleged wealth operates in the shadows, making it both more powerful and more dangerous. When wealth is hidden, it can't be effectively regulated, taxed, or constrained by democratic institutions. This shadow economy, allegedly controlled by Putin, also creates massive opportunities for money laundering, tax evasion, and other financial crimes. The secretive nature of Putin's wealth, tied to allegations of corruption, makes precise details contentious and speculative. When the world's potentially richest person operates entirely outside normal financial transparency requirements, it undermines the entire global financial system. The human cost of this alleged system is enormous. Russia receiving low scores on the Corruption Perceptions Index by Transparency International reflects a broader pattern where public resources that should benefit ordinary citizens are allegedly diverted to enrich Putin and his associates. Every dollar that flows into Putin's alleged personal empire is a dollar that doesn't go to Russian schools, hospitals, or infrastructure. But the story doesn't end with Russia. Putin's alleged wealth strategy has reportedly inspired similar approaches in other authoritarian countries. When aspiring autocrats see that someone can potentially become the world's richest person while maintaining political power, it creates a template for combining authoritarianism with unprecedented personal enrichment. The investigative community continues to work tirelessly to uncover the truth about Putin's alleged wealth. Investigations, such as those by Alexei Navalny's Anti-Corruption Foundation, FBK, suggest it's funded through corruption, but the complexity of the alleged system makes definitive proof extremely difficult to obtain. Each revelation seems to uncover uncover new layers of complexity, suggesting that what we know publicly may represent only a fraction of the full story. As we've seen throughout this investigation, Putin's alleged $200 billion fortune isn't just about money, it's about power in its purest form. If the estimates are correct, Putin has potentially created the largest personal fortune in human history, not through innovation or entrepreneurship, but through the systematic exploitation of an entire nation's resources. Research suggests Vladimir Putin is likely the richest president in the world, with estimates around $200 billion in 2025. This wealth allegedly serves as the foundation for a political system that has reshaped international relations, challenged democratic institutions, and demonstrated how vast personal fortunes can be used to project power across continents. Whether Putin is indeed richer than Elon Musk may never be definitively proven, but the investigation into his alleged wealth has revealed something far more important: how money, power, and corruption can combine to create systems that challenge the very foundations of the modern world. The story of Putin's alleged wealth is still being written. New revelations continue to emerge, international investigations continue to probe deeper, and the global community continues to grapple with the implications of what may be the largest hidden fortune in human history. One thing is certain: understanding this alleged empire of wealth and power is crucial for understanding not just Russia, but the challenges facing democracy and transparency in the 21st century. In the end, the question isn't just whether Putin is richer than Elon Musk, it's what the existence of such hidden wealth means for all of us, and whether democratic institutions are equipped to handle a world where political power and unimaginable personal wealth can be combined in the shadows, away from public scrutiny and accountability. If you love this video, then click on the card showing on your screen for more videos like this.